Hello, Libra. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So, Libra, I'm going to act as a conduit today for the universe to utilize me to speak to you about whatever the universe would like to speak to you about. I'm already getting a song in my head for you. It feels very, very quiet. Like the energy just feels very, very quiet in this reading. And the song that I have coming through is I think it's called Papa's Gonna Buy You a Mockingbird, but it's not, the lyrics are not coming out like that. It's a hush little baby, don't say a word, Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. I don't know why it doesn't, and it feels really unnatural. I know that that's not how the song goes. I believe it's Papa's gonna buy you. But it feels almost like I have to force it for it to say Papa for some reason. So I don't know if that's a message for you from some sort of feminine energy. And a mockingbird. The mockingbird, I feel, is often criticized. Nobody wants to hear what the mockingbird has to say, although the mockingbird usually has to say something pretty important. People often don't want to hear the truth when the mockingbird is present. The mockingbird also symbolizes the darkest point in the night, just before any sort of light starts to come through, prior to the sun going above the horizon. Any sort of twilight, it's dark. It's always darkest before the dawn. Interesting. I just keep hearing that song, Libra. This is general. Because it's general, it may or may not resonate. If it does and you're drawn to it, there is an extended. The link to that is at the top of the description within this video. Libra. The Ace of Wands. Look at all the darkness at the bottom of this card. And in the light, the sun is about to shine. Now, when I hear this song in my head, this song feels like so much of your reading. It has that sort of off in the distance, echoey, almost eerie pitch to it. But like something from far off, from a long time ago. I don't know if you had a parent or someone who used to actually sing that song to you. Something is about to shift in a very big way. And what you can notice here is that so much of the darkness is very small in this card. And I literally feel like you're sort of sitting at the cusp of this energy, about like the point of the mockingbird. Yeah, I think mockingbirds have a bad rap because they sing when it's still dark. They're, shut up, bird, it's not daytime yet. But if they know that something is about to shift. Something's about to change, and it's pretty exciting, Libra. It has that feeling, too, of sitting with someone who is very sick or who has a high fever, you know, and if you were a child and you were sick in the night, you probably had a parent up with you and putting a cold cloth on your head and trying to soothe you and make sure that you were okay to get through the night, making sure you were okay to get through the night. Now, you often get ancestral energy coming into your readings, and it sort of feels like that in a way, doesn't it? With this song, and Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. It's almost as if this energy is about to sort of pull away, to fade away. because it almost starts to sound like it becomes off in the distance and more echoey. And something's been sitting with you. Something, an entity, an ancestor has been sitting with you through some darker period in your life. And it really is almost as if they were making sure that you were never alone. But as the sun rises, and you know, it's often when you can tell, like if my own son's been sick and I put him to bed with a fever, you're always hoping that fever breaks in the night. And that's what it's like. Oh, here comes the blue jay. So blue jay's been coming to visit my feeder on the door here. He's a little late this morning, but that's okay. It was cold, so maybe he needed some time to warm up. So if we have a big fat blue jay right behind the camera right now, eating. So maybe that, you know, they have a very similar shape to a mockingbird. Very similar shape, obviously different coloration. But so the blue jay has come in. But this is like that, like the fever breaking in the night. Having to burn through something, having to sweat through something. Also has the feeling of like a DNA, like your DNA shifting and adjusting. I always think of, you know, how can DNA do that? And geneticists are finding that the DNA in people does actually change. They've seen that in identical twins. So based on, and that's how they can, identical twins, you know, when they're first born and then when they're very young, they often look incredibly similar. But then as they get older, they start to change. They start to shift. So the way that their body is regenerating cells, recreating their skin, their skeleton, their organs, everything, their system, it shifts. And it's based on, you know, what you've been exposed to. What you've been exposed to externally, how it's affected you emotionally. So there's a DNA shift that's been happening for you. Perhaps it feels like a darker time. Like it is always the darkest point. And that's also the point where it's hard to believe that the sun is about to rise. Especially if you've been up with a sick child through the night. The hours go by so slowly. The minutes go by so slowly. And you start to get tired. You know, in some way, I think your ancestor is also tired, but they can sense that the light of day is about to shine through. Yeah, the energy shift. All the light comes in, like the darkness is coming in this way. It hits this wand that looks much like a crystal. And then it spreads out. It bursts out. So almost bursting out into a rebirth here. Into a new cycle of light. You've been in a cycle of darkness. You've been in a cycle of evolution. You've really been in a chrysalis. And you haven't been alone. You may have felt very alone. But now the light is about to burst through. You're about to crack out of the chrysalis. You have two aces. Your reading, and then it's all reversed. So you have one reversal. Your reading is just about two aces. It's about new beginnings. Your next ace, your underline is the Ace of Cups. This is, oh, maybe two. Feeling like not, oh, the birds. There's two birds here coming to the water fountain. Maybe you've had actually two ancestors around you. The one that's speaking right now is very feminine. Mama's going to buy you a mockingbird. The mockingbird could be, I want to say mockingbirds and jays. There's different types of jays depending on what continent you're on. So mockingbirds and jays. Anything that takes that has that similar form. It's sort of like a chubby bird, a fair size with a longer tail. The tail is quite long, probably almost as long as the bird itself. Perhaps a crest. These are messengers, sort of like a reminder that you're not alone. You have new beginnings coming, Libra. I mean, that's the short end of it. You have new beginnings coming. You have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. It's the light of day. It's exciting. It's also warm. It's regenerative. So it is coming out of the chrysalis and almost feeling like, you know, cramped up. If you can imagine what a butterfly feels like the first time it comes out of the chrysalis as the butterfly. It's never been the butterfly before, and it feels all cramped up, and the natural urge to stretch. So you're going to have a natural urge to stretch, a natural urge to move beyond where you've been, and sort of like pump up those wings with oxygenated blood. So breathing technique seems very important for you right now. Also eating any foods that really help the iron levels in your blood, the oxygen levels, minerals. I'm really hearing minerals are important to you, which is interesting because we have the wand looks like a crystal. The Ace of Cups, water is very important to you as well, even perhaps a fountain. It feels like a fountain could be some sort of a place of a new beginning or a meeting place for you. You're just going to have, your new beginnings have nothing to do with practical things. Nothing to do with practical things or even thinking out your day. Your new beginnings are all about just feeling alive and being excited about life with the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. It's just being alive, going with the flow, seeing what the world, how the world is your oyster, and exploring it. I do want to ask, the song, it just keeps going around and around in my head. The significance of this song for Libra. The significance of this song for Libra. As you sit in the darkness and you get prepared to go into the light, the Four of Cups. So the significance. Because the mockingbird is really the strongest element to me in the message of that song. And that is when the dawn is about to break and you are not alone. You haven't been alone. Seven of Coins. See, this feels like almost like they're harvesting something. They look like little Cabbage Patch heads to me. Harvesting little Cabbage Patch heads, little Cabbage Patch dolls. But this is the practical things, like trying to figure out what to do next. The next cycle in your life is really not about trying to figure out what to do next. This could be difficult for you to pull away from too, because I know being Libra, you do tend to think an awful lot about your life, the world around you. This is not about that. And it's really interesting that I say that, because I have been finding it took a bit to get to it for me to come to the realization of it in your reading. It was pretty quick, and all the other zodiacs that I've done this week is asking you to do something that is not natural for you. It's not the easiest part of you. It's been coming up throughout the zodiacs this week. And then it is, but this one feels really nice. This doesn't feel like having to wake up and have a plan. This doesn't feel like, you know, having any regret about, well, I couldn't do that today, or I wasn't able to make that plan, or, oh, I could only hold so many things that I needed to deal with today. It's not about that at all. It really is about just being in the natural flow and feeling comfortable in your skin and enjoying what the day has to bring for you. And that becomes enjoyable because you're coming out of a dark period. The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands. The Five of Cups. Crossing the bridge. It's funny, you have the 4 and the 5 in the right order. The 4 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. The darkness. Wearing the dark cloak. Being in a period of mourning with the dark cloak as well. Coming out of that. Yeah. And these could be things, these could be relationships that you're mourning. Relationships from the past. It could even be a part of you. It could even be a part of you. Like who you knew yourself to be. I wouldn't be surprised if you experienced some sort of 10 of Swords along this path in darkness. So really who you were being eliminated. Very much chrysalis energy, like being that caterpillar and going into your chrysalis, going into your hibernation to come out. As really, in a way, what you were meant to be. The caterpillar was never, ever meant to just be a caterpillar. As I'm saying that, there's a funny, it's like a cartoon. I think it's been turned into a meme. Everything's a meme now. But it is a cartoon of a caterpillar talking to another butterfly and saying, hey, what happened to you? You changed. Why did you change? And the butterfly is saying, well, we're never meant to always be the same. We're always meant to change. And, you know, it could be like friends, colleagues, family that haven't gone along the change with you and looking at you and saying, well, what the heck? And even, you know, still feeling like you can't do caterpillar things anymore. You can't, because you're going to be a butterfly. And you're not going to eat leaves anymore. You're not going to crawl around. You're going to fly and you're going to look for nectar. The Ace of Cups. Oh, the sunshine. The sunshine. Sun. The sun. There you go. Your true destiny. Your true destiny awaits. Libra, your true destiny awaits on the other side of the fountain. Over the horizon, through the gates of hell, I'm hearing. So maybe for some of you. And then the Nine of Cups. Happiness. Happiness not affected anymore by anything that you don't have control over. Meeting your wish fulfillments. Boy, the Nine of Cups and the Sun is reaching your dreams. Reaching your hopes. Claiming them for yourself. Well, that seems pretty nice. And it seems like a really nice reading. And it seems like really great energy. But, and I remember as a reader too, if you're having some of this, you're getting the message of the mockingbird. So it's still dark. You're not quite seeing it. But, you know, I want to say, if you're not seeing a tiny bit of light on the horizon, if you're not seeing a glow in the sky that you're coming out of the darkness, it's just around the corner here. It's really just around the corner. I keep putting that 5 over here with the 4. So I want to go back to the Ace. Every time I'm playing with that 5, look, the Empress. I knew something wasn't right here. I just kept putting that here with this. So these two are meant to go together. I mean, when you're in a period of mourning, of being withdrawing from things around you, there could be the sense that you've missed opportunities, that you're missing out on life. Yeah, and even when the sun is shining outside, too, if you've lost someone. I do remember the first time I lost a relative died that I was close to when I was young. And I couldn't understand how anyone could laugh. I couldn't understand how the sun could rise, because it just seemed so painful that things could still exist while you were in so much pain or going through so much. But it does. The universe doesn't stop, because the universe wants you to get back on board again at some point. Coming back in with the living. Wow, the Empress. Look at this. the Ace of Wands and the Empress, the Ace of Cups and the Sun. This is glowing too. I feel, well, and Venus energy really coming into, there could be some sort of planetary or astrological cycle that's about to take place for you that has to do with Venus. That could be very important, and maybe it has to go, it's moving into some sort of a fire sign with the Ace of Wands. I mean, this is really lighting you up. Really, really lighting you up. And the happiness, the dream fulfillment that you're going to find here along the way is really based on emotions. It's based on your soul's journey, as opposed to, you know, Pentacles, practical mind, thinking, interpreting. Oh, now we get, oh, look, your underline is the Ace of Pentacles, the Moon, the Four of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. This is not where you find your answers anymore in this element with these pentacles. I really feel like, look at, this is like snooze time. It feels like snooze time. It's dark, it's healing, it's sleeping, it's resting, and it's all based on pentacles. That's what's going to rest here. And you likely already done the work that you needed to do in the physical sense of your life. And now it's time to do something else here. I'm going to leave it at that because it's really beautiful. Thank you so much, Libra. I'm going to go do the extended and see what I can pull out with that. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.